What's up? We are live. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, September 6th, right? Yeah, September 6th. I am still in Facebook jail, so if you are seeing this, you are hopefully watching us from our YouTube channel. We'll give Q a few minutes to jump on in here, but definitely want to start on time and at least introduce what we're going to talk about tonight and just how to find us, where to find us, and what to do on Tuesdays. Again, I'm still in Facebook jail, so it definitely has limited my activity on our Facebook group channel. But you can always find us and more information on both of our pages. We do have the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel has all of the shows that we have streamed through StreamYard posted over there, as well as some of our old school videos that I've been able to rip and put on YouTube. So you can find all of our episodes, all of our conversations are over on the YouTube channel, which is Free Thinkers Worldwide. It is a little different than our YouTube channel, but it's Free Thinkers Worldwide. On that channel, literally that's all that we post. So in order to find the link to join in the group, you would go to our Facebook page. So it is important to join in both places if you are going to support us. The Facebook page is, of course, just Free Thinkers with a hashtag in front. And that's where we have daily conversations. That's where we get a lot of our topics from for Tuesday nights. That's where the links for StreamYard can be found. That's where our networking takes place. So a lot of our Free Thinker family and friends have their own podcast, are artists, artisans, and just network with a lot of our folks. And so you can find a lot of that information, or all of that information is going to be over on our Facebook page, which is just hashtag Free Thinkers. I believe it is a public marked group, so it's not private. You don't have to subscribe to join. You just hit the join button and then boom, you're in there. So those are the two places where you can find us. If you want to join tonight's conversation, you'll have to go to the Free Thinkers Facebook page. Q has posted the link for tonight. The StreamYard link changes every single week. It's never the same link. So you can't copy it and just use it for the next week. It won't take you into it. I've got like 11 more days, I think, of Facebook jail. So I'll be able to a little more efficiently post the links and stuff like that. But it's pretty easy to find it over on the Facebook page. It's right up at the top. You'll see the link for tonight. You'll see the picture, all that good jazz. Click on the StreamYard, boom, it'll bring you right into the live. If you're like, I don't want to do live, then you can engage with us in the chat section, either on the YouTube video, or eventually Q will post it over to the Facebook, and you can interact on that comment section as well. Those comments will pop up here in our comments, and then we can share them on screen, discuss them, so on and so forth. So that's how to find us every Tuesday. The rules are the same every week. Join both places. Links are on Facebook every week. If you subscribe on our YouTube channel, then when I set up the YouTube stream for the day, you'll get a notification and then you get a reminder. So hopefully don't forget about that. But that's pretty much it. And of course, share. I see a lot of people sharing a lot of other folks' podcasts and relationship shows and, things that they watch on YouTube or on Instagram or different reels. Share us too. Put us out there. Share us. Let people see what we talk about. Let us engage with other people. Introduce us to your world. Introduce your world to us. Hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Absolutely. Anyways, Q, welcome back. Let me just run this out for a few seconds while you're going back and forth. I'll introduce, how to find us. Our topic tonight is something I had never heard about until Q mentioned it a couple days ago, which then became. No, not the Sadie September.
Really? Oh.
No, that was you. I was like, I've never heard of that before.
Oh, why did I mention that?
I've heard of No Shave November, and I heard of like a whole bunch of other things, but Sadie September was a new concept to me. Sadie September, what I've learned, is like, I guess, a spinoff of Sadie Hawkins Day. Sadie Hawkins was a cartoon comic strip from like the 1930s to 1978. Like I know the comic strip, but I didn't realize it had been around that long. And I guess she was a she was a girl who just couldn't get a man. She couldn't get a boyfriend like I can't think of what they called her. She was a homely daughter and she failed to catch a husband. So they created this Sadie Hawkins thing. So instead of like women pursuing men, it was women, instead of men pursuing women, it was women pursue men for a day. So that's what we're going to talk about. You know, Q would ask me if I heard about the Sadie September, and I had no clue what that was. And then it, grew the conversation of women approaching men, women asking men out. And then of course our minds just start going 100 miles a minute. We're like, oh, rejection, and how does this happen? And has it, have you been approached by women? Women, have we approached men? How did that work? So switch it up a little bit, and we'll talk about that. We have some great topics for next week and some shows ahead, so we'll talk about those a little more before we finish tonight. But Sadie September, and I couldn't find much on the internet about Sadie September, so I don't know where you saw this at, or like if it's like a big traction thing and I just can't find it. But where did Sadie September come from? Like, do you remember where you saw that at?
First time I heard of it is in another group that I moderate. It's a singles group, and that's one of the things that they do. And it's called Sadie September. So
this is like commonly known then.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if it was derived from Sadie Hawkins, but it seems like it was. Yeah, they seem like they're connected. And then I saw Tierra in a post mention the Sadie September. Hey, this is the month where in the month where you're supposed to take the women are supposed to ask the man out. It was actually during Labor Day. They had like these $3 movie tickets. So she's like, oh, you can ask a man out and get a cheap date out, inexpensive date out.
$3 movie tickets, but I thought that was just like the $3 September or something.
That's just for Labor Day, but the fact that Tierra mentioned it for Sadie September, and also that we don't live in the same state, so even I didn't know if it was just a Texas thing or a regional thing, but even her being where she is, I'm like, oh well, maybe that's a thing and not just a Texas thing or something that just an individual group made up. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that's where I don't know exactly. You may have been mentioning just role reversals in general, and it may have made me think of that. I don't know.
But that's what we're talking about next week. We are going to talk about role reversal next week.
But I've had a lot of these conversations in another group that I moderate, and it's interesting. I'd
be curious to hear some of your feedback on that end, especially if you and I are the only two that end up having this conversation tonight. I'll be curious, like what some of the feedback that we get from men and women.
So yeah, most of my interview was just how, because for a man, this is something that we've had to do if we want to be in a relationship or go out on a date. Then it's typically thought for us to initiate it. So even during this September time, then my question was like, okay, this is something that's not normal for you to do. How did you feel about it? Were you nervous? I heard a lot of people, which I said they were cheating. A lot of people kind of cowered out a little bit. So then they asked people who they knew would say yes. They asked maybe friends or someone that they were semi-platonic with, and they knew that they'd get a yes or they'd get a favorable response. And I'm like, no, that
doesn't count.
In my opinion, it takes away from the true experience that a man has to do, where you could be accepted. You could be
rejected,
passively rejected. You could be politely rejected, or you could just be dogged out. There's a variety. You have no idea how it's going to turn out when you approach a woman and ask her out. So
let me ask you a question. I mean, I think maybe ignorantly and maybe culturally, maybe it's taught to us that men do the pursuing, right? That doesn't mean it has to be that way, but generally men pursue women, and we're clearly speaking on just your basic relationships. How do men learn? How do men learn this? How is this innate, or do men just know they're supposed to pursue women? Are men taught how to handle rejection? Like, how does this work for y'all, right? Because this is not generally something women, have to do, I don't think. And I wonder if that's why maybe women shy away from that because of the rejection aspect. So are we just ignorant to assume men handle rejection better? Are y'all taught this somewhere somehow, or is it something that's just in there?
Yeah, mostly we learn through trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
A combination of trial and error, also bad advice for people who know barely more than we do, like an older cousin or uncle, and they're bad at it also. And then they try to give you. Men have a habit of trying to give people both men and women. People love giving advice that sounds good, but it's not sound advice, or it's not even advice that is effective in a lot of terms.
Okay.
And also, that's also why you get a large portion of men who not only are bad at asking people out, but they are bad at handling that rejection. So then those are when you hear those stories of men, oh, you were interested in me 30 seconds ago, but then when I politely said no thank you, well, I ain't want you anyway, ugly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You haven't learned how to handle rejection. And you don't understand that that's a part of the process. Just like in sales, I say this about sales all the time. If you can't handle rejection, you can't be in sales.
Do you feel like, as a father, and I don't know what like your dad or how your dad handled this with you perhaps, but do you feel like you will have this conversation with your son? Like, you're going to talk to him about how to approach or types of approach, and then how to handle rejection? Like, will you actually have that conversation? Do you think that that's necessary?
I will absolutely have that conversation with my son. That conversation was not had with me at all.
Wow. Okay.
So, but what I can say on the flip side, the conversation wasn't had, but the example was set.
Sure.
So
Sure.
even when there's a lot that I had to learn as far as just approaching a woman and having a conversation, but the example was set when it came to respect, how to deal with women, not just women that you are interested in, but
Right.
all women, including your mother, including your sisters, including any woman. So that part of it wasn't hard. I was a few steps ahead of the game when it comes to just knowing how to operate with respect regardless. So yeah, that's my answer.
I think that's, and I think it's interesting because I feel like a lot of us came from places where like certain conversations just didn't happen. And like the today me feels like there's so many conversations I have to have with my kids to maybe try to prepare them better. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I was ill equipped, but there's just so many conversations that didn't happen. And I feel like if we did have these conversations with our children, we can prepare them a little bit better and give them some tools that maybe we didn't have. What's up, Edward? Thanks for joining the show tonight. We're just on the conversation about rejection, how to handle rejection, where we learned rejection, or were we taught how to handle rejection? Because the conversation tonight is about women pursuing men. So I had just kind of started with asking Q, like, how did he know how to pursue, or is it just like a thing that's innate in men? Like, are y'all that's just what you're supposed to do, or were you taught this? Did somebody teach you about pursuing women or how to handle rejection?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm on tonight because there's a lot of stuff I would like to say about that as far as like how to pursue women, rejection, because I dealt with all that myself, rejection more than pursuing on my end. I dealt with a lot of rejection. As far as pursuing women, the only ones other than my father who has told me to pursue is mainly like my close friends, especially back in high school. Like they tell me how to pursue, but me being hard-headed, I just didn't like the idea because of the fact that I wasn't very, what's that word? Not what's that word? Dang, it's not aggressive, but more assertive. That's the word. I wasn't assertive with the way how I approach people. I always let people come to me rather than me going to them. If I feel like the vibes are right, then okay, maybe I can come up to them. But if it doesn't seem right, I either just stay back and just see how it all flows.
It's so interesting because I mean the vibes have to be there, right? Like that's like connection 101. The vibes have to be there. So like I feel you on that. It's always weird to me when somebody approaches me and I'm like, where did you even get the idea? Like really, where did you get the idea that I was interested? You know, like that doesn't mean there's a difference between being friendly and there's a difference between being friendly and flirting. And I think some people get those two confused big time. And I'm very, 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 very friendly. I'm not flirtatious with very many people, you know, and I've definitely seen situations where that's been taken wrong, where I think because I was friendly, men just assume that like, oh, she's interested. And I'm like, no, she's not.
But that's also one of those things, like I said, about being taught wrong, either by your friends or
sure.
You know, well, this what you, if you like her, then just go talk to her. Don't be scared. So then it became a don't be scared thing, which in a lot of cases I was scared, definitely. But also as an adult that I started learning, I had a reason to be scared. Because in a lot of those instances, like you said, this person wasn't giving me any cues that they were interested. So even when I'm looking for some type of chemistry connection, non-verbal response, it wasn't there, and your boy still egging you on, go talk to her.
Right.
And not only that, let me take it a step further. If you get rejected or you bomb out, they're gonna talk about you for the next 3 weeks.
No.
Like they're gonna push you out there. You get rejected, then you're gonna get laughed at and talked about after that. So it was lots of pressure with that, and like I said, a lot of it was justified because in a lot of those instances, they weren't giving you any signs that they were interested. Okay. And a lot of those people that I didn't approach or I was scared to approach, I shouldn't have approached them. It was nothing about their body language, eye contact, anything that should have gave me the idea.
Really? You just went for it.
No, most of the time I didn't. I was pretty scary. I was scary.
Okay.
It wasn't until either my first or my second senior year in high school that I really start feeling myself.
Okay.
And then that's when I started to shed off my shyness.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Things changed then.
So when we started talking about this conversation, what were your first thoughts? Women approaching men.
Well, you know, my inquisitive mind. My first thought was, have you ever approached a man? Have you ever asked a man out?
What? Yeah, one time.
Okay.
One time.
Okay, hold on. Let me slow walk this. How did you ask them out, and were you nervous before you did it? Were you apprehensive? Were you like, what was your feeling and your thought process before you act? Now, let me ask you this first before I even get there. Right. Did you directly ask them, or was it like a passive ask?
Well, I can't even say that I asked this person out on a date, but I definitely pursued him first. I definitely let him know that I saw him, you know, and then where we went from there was, of course, you know, he pretty much took over.
Got you.
But like, ask a man.
You made it be known that I'm interested.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that had I not said something, I don't think that he would have either at that time. So we wouldn't be as close as we are today.
Let me ask another question. Now, did you do it sober minded, or
I wasn't like overly inebriated at all. Like, no, I definitely had a couple drinks, but I drove that.
Yeah, I drove know a lot of women who have.
No, I drove that night, so I know I drove that night, and I was in charge of a whole bunch of people that night. So I wasn't like I was faded and where I was just in that, you know, liquor mode.
Let me ask, not faded, but did the one or two that did it loosen you up, and would you have done it had you not been loosened up by a couple of drinks.
Yes, because even though it was like the absolute first time I'd ever pursued a man ever, like there was some energy happening, right? Like even though he didn't say anything first,
you felt it.
There was something. It was like, because I never would have said anything if I didn't think something was there. And this was, damn, I was probably like 6-8 months after having left a 16-year relationship. So everything was fucking new to me at that point, right?
Were you in an F it mode?
Was I? No, huh? No, it was a birthday party. Had a great night. Like,
okay. I know after you, especially you've been in a long relationship that you may have thought would last forever, and then it don't. Then you just be like, F it. I'm going for look, whatever I feel like. That's what.
It wasn't. And even by the time I had met him, I was not interested in anybody. Like I just, just hadn't really found anybody I was really interested in, and wasn't really. That wasn't my goal at all. So even going to this birthday party, like meeting a man was not on the list of shit I was worried about. The whole night started off an absolute disaster, and then it turned out pretty fucking good. So I mean, I'm a 1-for-1 because I really have only pursued one man, and he reciprocated and became a very, 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 very close friend of mine. Like we're still really close. Like that is my dog. That's my friend. But that's the only time I've ever pursued a man. And that's not to say that I wouldn't. That's not to say that I'm above. That's not to say that I'm too scared to. I would love to actually have a man in my life, or just a man come across my view that is so fucking attractive to me, or that gives off an energy to me that I'm like, I am about to go holler at him. I'm about to go slide up next to him at the bar. Like, I would love for that to be something that I get to do, but that's just not been the opportunity I've been presented with.
I got you
lately.
Edward, let me ask you a question, Edward. Hey, Stokely, how you doing, sir?
What's up, Stokely?
Take me back, if you can remember, either the first time or the first, 1 or 2 times when you approached a woman and actually asked her, tell me, how was that like? What were you thinking? What were you feeling? If you can remember, what did you say and how did it turn out? Tell me about it.
Good question, Q. I would say, I think the first time I asked somebody, I would say mostly nervous because it was my first encounter. I never really had done anything like it before, as far as like.
Okay, hold on, time out. Were you the puppy love like junior high or high school, adult? What stage were you in at this time?
It was my early adult age.
Okay, gotcha.
Like probably like around like 20. I was 20.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I asked somebody over the phone. I was like, hey, I'm really feeling you, and I was like,
hold on, time out. How did you get their number in the first place? How did you know them?
I met this friend at college, at a community college. Okay. So I knew her because I knew her sister, which I known for a year prior, and her sister's boyfriend, who I known back then as well too. So once I was able to get her number. We was talking. I was feeling her, and then I called her one night, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she said, "We're good." And then I say, "Hey, I really would like to take you out sometime. Is it possible I can, take you to a restaurant, say like Wednesday night at 8:30?" And she told me here's another thing too. I didn't know she was in a complicated relationship at the time. She never mentioned that.
Yes, a lot of complicated.
Yeah. So with that, she said, and she was like, "I'm sorry. I would love to, but I can't. I'm in a complicated relationship right now, and I hope you understand." And I was distraught at first. So when she said, "Okay," and I was silent for like 3 seconds, and she said, "Okay." Again, I was like, yeah, that's fine, it's cool. And then we talked for like another minute or so, and then I hung up. That was it.
Okay.
So that was a
let me
weird
say,
experience on my first time approaching.
Nikki, let me tell you this. First of all,
Say it again.
I'm tell Nikki this since I'm giving her game.
Give
Right
me
here.
all the points. Tell me
First
what
of all, he did. I don't know exactly what your approach was, but generally speaking, he did what he was supposed to do. The one thing a man does not want to do is be vague and non-committal, and you try to do not ask softly. Well, I'll think about going to get something to eat later on. If you ain't doing nothing, then
that's not asking somebody out. That is not asking somebody out.
They softballing it because they don't want to feel the brunt of the rejection.
Mm-hmm.
You put it straight out there. Yes, I'm feeling you, and
I agree.
like to take you out sometime. He did exactly what it, regardless of the response.
That's
what I would teach my son. That's how you be direct. Be open, be honest about how you feel. And the second thing I would say, and Edward, I don't know, you had to tell me about this because when you said you was kind of distraught a little bit. One thing that I learned, and then Stokely, you can give us your wisdom as well. Don't wait too long when you feeling some, because what happens is if you like somebody, you feeling somebody, and you wait too long, you allow all of these feelings and thoughts to start formulating and manifesting in your head, and you allow something to become bigger than it actually is. So then the moment that you actually you put more pressure on yourself the longer that you wait. Because now you start thinking in your mind, oh, I like them, I'm feeling them, and then your imagination start getting carried away. Maybe they the one. Well, if they the one, then I bet not. I gotta ask them right. I don't want to mess this up. And you put so much pressure on yourself before you ever ask them. And if something like that comes up to where I'm still in it's kind of complicated situation right now. You done developed all these thoughts and imaginations in your head, and it becomes that much more devastating. Because what you should do and what you have to learn to do when you feeling somebody and you like to go ahead, get straight to the point. If they feeling you, great. If they not, now if they're in a complicated situation, you didn't allow your imagination to carry you off somewhere that
into la la land.
It makes it hard for you to come back from. Like, Stokely, what you think? And I'm gonna ask you the same question in a second. What you think about that?
This is the Sadie Hawkins topic. Oh, this is crazy.
I'm trying to get some more ladies on here so I can start interrogating them. But
I know so many women tonight. I'm like, please join this conversation.
I can only speak for my marriage, my wife, and it's the freshest one. So one. I mean, when you think about it, well, going back how we met, I mean, we actually knew people that knew people, and we just got to chit-chatting, and I just like you said, you just have to be direct and don't hem and haw and act all nervous. And I was nervous, but I just threw it out. I asked her, do you like ham? And she did. She says, yes, I do.
God, Jesus.
So,
do you mean actual ham or ham? Which one you talking about?
I meant real ham.
Okay. That's terminology.
It could go all the way with you, Stokely. It could go, I'm gonna go ham. You like this ham?
and you know what made me say, this is the one. This is the one. So after she told me she liked ham, and she actually she told me this. She said, I was about to quit you because I was not asking her out. Mm-hmm. I was just trying to, I was a bachelor. I was just trying to find time to say. But here's what made me say, man, she planned a date from the beginning to the end.
Ooh.
And took me to see the Kings of Comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't about what we did. It's about the thought that she put into it that made me say, wow, I'm old. So, back in the day, that ain't how it happened. So to see a woman do those things from thinking about what she wanted to do, how she wanted to do it, planning it. Let me tell you this. She even came and picked your boy up. I mean, it's not like I didn't have a car anyway to get there.
Sonya got them player points.
And so that's what made me say, man, this is the one. And fast forward, and here we are. So now she's my wife, love her to death. But it was the things, the small things, the little things that she did, the little things that she said. And had it been up to me, like I said, she told me I was about to quit you. You just weren't moving fast enough.
Wow.
You were, but I had work and I had things going on, and I had to clear my plate and all of that. So, we met for dinner one time before, and I was dressed terrible. I'd played golf. I was all sweaty and crazy looking, but she didn't judge me. And then, like I said, she planned that date from the beginning to the end. And I said, wow. And those things count. Those things like that count. Especially like men are generally, I'm not going to say generally, men oftentimes do, maybe not as much. We'll say, okay, let's go have dinner. Let's go to the movies. Let's go do something. And it's not planned out like that was. So that's the part of it that was like, wow, here I'm full grown, a whole grown man. And she's doing all of that. I'm thinking like, wow, this is awesome. So that's what kind of started the ball rolling. And like I said, here we are.
Let me ask you, Nikki, do you have any girlfriends or people who that they're very aggressive as far as if they see a man that they like, they will approach them, ask them out?
I mean, I only have like 4 friends. So it's easy to pinpoint those 4. I think that most of them would, certainly, if if somebody really came across their plate that this intrigued them, and maybe had some type of energy going where it was like, oh shit, okay, I see you, you see me. I think that most of them would probably approach. I don't think that any of them would just completely run from the idea of. Yeah, I think most of them would approach a man. Now, I couldn't tell you right now. I'm trying to think of these 4 girlfriends, how many of them have had stories where they have approached men, and I can't think of any.
So let me ask, and this can be for anybody, because even men, we can have girlfriends and female friends too. So my question, I think that I'm trying to get to, is for those, if any woman who's more aggressive and say, hey, if I like you, then I'm gonna approach you and reach out to you, do you find those women being more successful in the dating scene? I hear a lot of people, just based off my experience and the people I talk about how hard dating is, and the dating scene is, especially in Austin, people talk about how whack it is and stuff like that. So I don't know the answer. I'm just asking if you have any female friends who are more aggressive when it comes to what they want. Do you find that they're more successful when it comes to dating?
I don't think that they're more successful when it comes to dating. I think they may have more success at possible first date, but I don't know long-term wise if, because of the dynamics, and we'll just use Austin as an example, and Austin is kind of a weird place to be single at, especially if you are not dating exclusively white men or white women. Because the pool is just not a lot to choose from, you know what I'm saying? Realistically, in Austin, our population is definitely small. I think that getting a first date is certainly something that is tangible, but it being a long-term thing, I don't see that. No.
Okay. Edward, you said it depends. What do you mean by
that? Basically, when I say it depends on some women. Some women, they say, they're aggressive, but when they actually put the action into their words, it's a mixed bag. Like they might say, "Oh, okay, I'm about this and that. I'm all about this. I'm all about that." But then when it comes to dating, some will come up to you and say, "Hey, there's this movie coming on at 7:00. Would you like to go?" And then you got some who they may say it, but then at the same time they play mind games and be like, I wonder if he's going to say, I wonder if he's going to lead and say if he's going to take me out and stuff. So it all depends on certain women. Some women, they say they're about the aggressiveness, and then some women say they are about it, but they truly do not. They're trying to test us.
And that's a good point, whether I don't know if he was making it or not, but there are some women who are aggressive in showing their availability. Now, the moment they make themselves available and they're like, hey, I'm letting you know without saying it, but body language, non-verbally, I'm letting you know that I'm available. Now, once you grab onto that, then they still expect you to take lead. Like, okay, I just let you know I'm available. Now you've grabbed this. Now I'm going to allow you to ask me out on a date. I'm allow you to give your best effort. And I think that's cool. And as a matter of fact, I'm speaking off the top of my head. I think more women should take on that mindset if they're actually looking to be in the dating scene or they're looking to prospect men. You got to be more aggressive with making yourself available. That don't mean you got to do everything. That don't mean you got to take them out on a date. But it's hard to want somebody or want to be approached, but then you're very unapproachable. Like that's a tough thing. So
another thing too,
I want to piggyback on that.
Go ahead. Body language too is also a problem too. Right. Not everybody could read body language. Sometimes, like when I was coming up, I didn't know what body language was about. Like I didn't know about it personally until my sister, and my sister is only a few years younger than me, and she know way more about body language, love languages, all that stuff, more than I didn't even think about it. Like she came to me and talked about it, and after that point, that's how I able to find out. And I'm still learning. Like I still don't know every aspect of the body language of what women try to give me. Sometimes I look and I'm like, do they really want to see me? Are they seeking me or what? Like there's confused signals. But as time goes on, I kind of learn more and more about their body language. And I know that's the key to the connection with the body language, as long as we understand it.
Ooh, I'm about to say something, but go ahead, Nikki.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on what you said, and so listening to both you and Edward, I feel as though we're definitely in a time where women shouldn't not pursue a man because if you want them, you do have to put the effort forth. But I feel like, and I've gathered this from so many of my male friends who have talked about how women play a lot of games, and I'm just talking about women playing games because of course men do too, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about women. So women play a lot of games, and men get tired of gamey ass women, like in the trying to read between the lines and her not being real transparent, or a yes isn't a yes and a no isn't a no, like it's a whole lot of maybes and grays and shit, and that's like that doesn't help the situation. And so again, that's not to say that all women play games and shit like that, but men are tired of gamey women. And I think that women, this is 2022, if you're my age and older, 40 plus, like it's time to get the show on the road. I mean, our pickings aren't necessarily slim, but it's going to get slimmer and slimmer as time goes on. If you see a man that you're interested in, I think it's absolutely okay, green light, especially if he has some chemistry with you, to maybe put forth the effort to let him know you're interested. Because I think the message that we have sent to a lot of men is very confusing to men, and we may miss out on a really good man having ego issues or insecurity issues or whatever the case may be, by not saying something or not putting that seed out there or putting forth the effort. And that's why I said I would love for there to be somebody I could actually be like, I want to take him out. Like I want to plan a Kings of Comedy date for him too. But I mean, he just haven't run across my street yet.
Well,
but
see, that's the thing is like going back, like I said, I'm old. So going back and looking at like the clique, the crew that I used to hang with, we all had a great time. It was probably 25 people. And we had of course, the guys and the girls. We do football outings and, go see games and do all that type of stuff. But the thing about it was a lot of the women were aggressive, but at the end of the day, they was all lonely. When you talk about gaming, look, I'm back in the day, I mean, I was cold-blooded, is what I'm saying. But they was just gamey. But like you said, like I said, they were aggressive but lonely at the end of the day, And now, fast forward 10 years, 15 years, 10, 12 years rather, and you got a couple of them that are married, but then, you still see them on Facebook. They're just going to the gym. They got 4 or 5 dogs. They rescuing pets and shit. I ain't got nothing against that. I ain't got nothing against that.
Right.
But that's what they do now. And I'm like, okay, well, shit, But the game thing is where guys get wore out. We'll lose interest over all of that. Just like, and I'm not saying women are the only ones that do it. Men play those games too, and I'm sure women are fed up with it as well. Right. But a good, well, not necessarily a good example, but an example of women that are older that still play these games and want to, do it. If you ever watch Housewives or wherever, it don't matter. You've always got a few. I don't watch it really, but I have a wife and a daughter that do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I know what you said.
Yeah. I got a wife and a daughter. So I get caught up sometimes while I'm, doing things around the house and it's on. But, it's the same. You see that same woman, that aggressive. She says she's aggressive, but every dude she come across can't deal with her and don't want to deal with her. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. I wanted to go because Edward said something and it made me think of something, and then Nikki kind of added on to what I was thinking off of what Edward said. He talked about reading body language and still working on body language. One thing that I learned over time is body language and self-confidence go hand in hand. Until you become self-confident, a woman can give you all the signs in the world and you not gonna see them because you don't have the confidence in yourself that you need to have. So if they're giving you the signs and they're coming on to you and they're showing interest, you don't look at yourself as worthy. Like, no, she couldn't be. Maybe she's just happy because it's a Tuesday. Like, if you don't have the self-confidence, it's like she couldn't just be interested in me. It was until I started getting self-confidence is when I started, and I'm still learning this stuff too, when I started to be able to notice body language. Because outside of that, then it's like you will miss it because the obvious attention that you're given, that's being given to you, you don't think you're worthy of it. Also, with women, which you were saying something, Nikki, and I was like, even it's not so much self-confidence with women, but the confidence of knowing what you want. I should say it like that with a lot of women. And so then when you talk about women playing games and stuff like that, if you don't know what you want, then you always going to be wishy-washy all the time because you out here halfway playing the field, but in reality, you don't even know what you want. You don't have goals and expectations set, stuff like that. So you always going to seem like you just all over the place. So you playing games. Some women are playing games, but some women they're only really playing games because they just don't know what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things, and that's an element of self-confidence or knowing yourself, I should say, when it comes to women.
And they do want attention at that moment, and that's not the same thing as like trying to pursue a man. Like that's temporary, you know?
So wanting attention is not the same thing. And also on the man side, walking with your chest out and having an ego is not the same thing as self-confidence either.
No, it's actually the opposite.
There was a lot of times I tried to, because you'll find out it's a lot of false bravado. A lot of men carry a lot of false bravado. And see, because self-confidence ain't even saying I'm all that. Self-confidence ain't saying I'm cute. Self-confidence is I know who I am.
Yeah,
I know my strengths.
Who I am.
I know my weaknesses. I know, I know my area of that's, like in any sport, basketball, whatever you do, your strengths, your weaknesses, if you're a role player, if you, whatever it is, you walk in that and you walk in it well. Right. That's what self-confidence is, and not thinking that you are alpha male. Alpha male don't mean you self-confident.
No. And that was one of the things I was just thinking about as Edward and Nikki were speaking earlier was, is there and I know there's not a specific age that people get to where they realize their position or when do you get that self-confidence? And I think it comes with maturity. It comes with age. It comes with understanding who you are and how you, how you play your position, like he was just saying, and growing up and being that young guy who thought he was thought he was the shit, again, that's not self-confidence. That's, they say you have a representative and then you have you. That being you and finding out who you are and what makes you good is where your confidence comes from. That's the way I look at it for myself, because I'm, like I said, I'm old, so shit. I know what I'm.
I think it comes with self-examination and examination of failure. Like I said, I've been in the sales game every time, and even to this day, even though I'm not doing hard sales right now, I'm just doing account management. But in any sales, every time I was rejected, I always ask myself why. I always ask myself, is there something I could have did? Is there something I should have said? Is there something I didn't notice? Is there a question that I didn't ask that I should have? But you got to assess what that failure is. That's the only thing that helps you in the long run understand things in the future, understand how to be successful later. If you don't ask the questions, and if you just think, oh, well, they just don't want it. Well, why didn't they want it? Did you ask the question?
Right.
And so even what I would even tell some of my workers, oh, they just didn't want it. Okay, so why didn't they want it?
Right.
No, they just didn't want it. If you don't know, if you can't pinpoint why they didn't want it, then that means you didn't do your job. See, it's not your job to make them get something, but it is your job to get a clear understanding of, do I have value to provide to them? Are they caught up in another, like I said, I used to work for Spectrum back in the day. Why didn't they want it? Oh, they just didn't. No, it's not just. We go back to the door. They stuck in a contract. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know they were stuck in it. You didn't ask the right questions. So now if I know what the issue or your hang up or your hesitation or your rejection is, then I may have a solution for you or I may not. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Shake your hand, walk the door. But I know the why. And that's what I tell my workers. Every time you talk to a person, get the why. And sometimes in relationship, from a relationship standpoint, they're not going to tell you why all the time.
Right. But
or even most of the time. But you yourself can examine the why for yourself so that you can operate accordingly when it comes to the next person you encounter.
I got a question for y'all. So what is a woman? What did I write down? How does a woman come on to you? What are the ways that women can come on to a man, that women can approach a man? Like what are the signals that we should look for from a man, other than like obvious shit, right? But like, if a man is really in a position to where maybe he was just absolutely not going to approach anybody tonight. He's just out having a good time. Maybe he's by himself having dinner, whatever. Maybe he's at the grocery store. What are some things that women should look for what is that energy that a woman should look for? And we all have.
You saying if a man if a man is approaching a woman, what is a woman looking for?
If a woman is in a position to where what are some things that a woman could look for that says he's interested, that is like her green light to maybe pursue him or to maybe interject herself into his life.
Okay. I'd had it backwards.
So for situations where y'all have had women pursue you or women hit on you, like what is that? What green light did she get?
Stokely, that's two different questions, because it's different. It's different scenario as far as a woman looking for the signs that a man is interested versus a man looking for the signs that a woman is interested, because usually they give off two different signs.
Okay, well, let's talk about both of them.
Okay, give me which one you want first?
Signs that a man is interested.
I'll let you go first, Stokely.
Ain't that something? Ain't give me time to even think about it. Well, let me. Golly.
See, okay, so let me say this, Stokely, first, because I'm kind of not going to give you an answer. And see, this is how men are with other men. I would tell you, if you was my sister, my cousin, or somebody I know, if you ask me that, like, what are the signs that a man is interested? My answer to you would be, it don't matter. If he ain't got the balls to step up to you and ask you out, even if he like you, if he don't have the balls to step up to you and actually ask you out, then it don't matter.
But what if he's not sure about her situation, but she's definitely kind of feeling it?
That go back to what I just said.
He won't know unless he asks.
Thank you. That's what I said.
And that's where that confidence comes in. You've got to be straightforward.
He ain't ready. He's not ready anyway, in my opinion. Yeah.
If he doesn't know, ask the question again.
What are some signs that a man is interested in a woman? Just, and this is not like we don't know each other forever and ever and ever. Like, this is just I see you out. I see you at the store. I see you at the bar. I see you at the cigar lounge. Hell, I might see you in the airport. I might see you at the, I don't know. But if a man sees a woman and she's, she's attractive or whatever, like what are some things that she should be looking for that she might be like, oh, okay, well, let me see what you're talking about.
The look, and then see, I'm just more direct though. That's the thing, is I can't answer that, because I would step two and go for it. The worst thing she could do would be like, hey, if you don't back up on me, get the hell out of my face. That's the worst thing she could do, is say no, at that point. But, I don't know. I was just telling Sonia the other day about how I've become, like, I don't pick up on stuff. Like, two of my colleagues were telling me, man, she was hitting on you. This lady, one of our clients, was there, and she's like 6'2". I ain't 6'2". So, I was like, okay. But she kept asking questions, and I always have my ring on. So, but she was still, they said, and I was, again, not picking up on these things, because I'm not, just looking for them, I guess. I don't know. But, those women, if they're direct and they're aggressive, they'll cross that line, step on that line. But again, I'm off the market. Thank goodness. Baby, you heard that? Thank goodness.
Let me give you some things. So the first thing that both men and women do, that's a telltale sign that they are interested. I'm talking about a woman knowing that a man's interested, but this first one goes both ways. Creating opportunities. So it's not just, sometimes you will just fall into an opportunity, but when people create opportunities, and that's usually like, oh, no, you don't work directly together. They work on the 4th floor and I'll work on the 1st floor, but I'll find my way getting up to the 4th floor.
going out.
when I ain't got no reason. I'm gonna go to the vending machine up on the 4th floor, and we got a vending machine down here. But let me go up there and create opportunities. Let myself be seen and known in the presence of that person. That's creating opportunities of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The other part that men will also do is attempt to extend conversations.
Right.
So even if there is just a short conversation or just a casual thing, or if it could be, about some work related or whatever you have in common, you will find ways to keep the conversation going. Because unless you are just a chatty man, which some people are, but a lot of men are not.
Right.
And for a man, this is the easy thing for a man to see, because they like, you don't talk that much. The fact that you still trying to go on and keep conversation going on,
right?
He like you, and that's why you see a lot of men, like a man to tell another, if it's the female's friend, oh, he like you. No, he don't. No. It's not his personality to have this ongoing conversation like that. He likes you. So that's the extending conversations, trying to keep it going. Asking questions outside of your common circle. So if you at work and then a person starts asking you about, well, what you like to do outside of work, they fishing. Well, what do you usually do on the weekends? You ever go down to 6th Street? They fishing. They fishing. And then passive. And this is the corny stuff, but a lot of men do this. And I hate this, but it's funny because it's so obvious. The passive relationship inquiries. So they don't ask you directly, you got a man, but you having a conversation. Oh man, yeah, I bet your husband enjoy you.
Oh, that shit. What your man say about that?
Yeah,
man, come on now.
So your man lets you go.
Your man lets you put them shoes on today.
If you gonna ask, women do that too, by the way. Also, women do that. Also.
What's your girl doing?
Exactly. So those are the telltale. That came off the top of my head. Those are signs where you can see.
That is so fucking funny. Because that last one is so common.
It's so corny to me. I don't even entertain it when I hear it.
I don't either, because I'm like, if you can't just ask me straight up, then don't fucking beat around the bush.
That's like, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction for that passive.
Yeah, it is corny.
It is. It's something corny is a good thing, but that shit right there is not it. Like, no, we're whole adults. Like, ask the question that you want to ask. Don't do that.
Now hold on. I will give a slight pass a little bit, because well, Nikki, you kind of work by yourself for the most part, but if you are in the workplace, you got to be kind of careful about how you go about inquiring and asking certain questions. So in the times when I was single, if I was inquiring, then I was definitely going to be passive at the workplace, because you wasn't going to accuse me of trying to come on to you. So I'm like, I ain't say nothing. So I always kept what they call it, whatever, denying culpability or whatever. I'm like, you ain't heard me directly say nothing. I just asked. So there's ways to go about doing things depending on where you at. It's ways. Now if you just out and you don't have, if you're not in the workspace or any, no, you need to be more direct and say what's on your mind.
Yep.
Have y'all had many women approach you? Have y'all been hit on many times or not many times? Do y'all have much experience with women hitting on y'all?
I had some in the past, and there's maybe, I want to say I can count at least like 3. And the ones who actually hit on me were actually like at least 10 years or so older than me.
Oh, wow.
Like the older women seemed to like me more than the women around my age or younger, which really surprised me. I think maybe because of my maturity, I act more mature than the people around my age. Maybe the confidence. I mean, it could be anything.
How old are you, Edward?
33.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious, dude?
Yes, sir.
Look at you. I could have swore you was like 22 or something.
Like 20, right?
That's why
Oh
You know,
yeah,
black don't crack.
it don't crack. I mean, that's a God put a special drop on you, and man, that's good, man.
I appreciate that, man.
So what did those women coming on to you look like? Were they the aggressive? Were they soft? Were they, shooting out of left field and it was all blanks?
I like the Ferrari you put there, Nikki. I had one was very aggressive. I had another one. She came. I guess she was. So there was one who actually throws signs that I could see, because sometimes I can't really see signs. But this one particular, she did throw some signs at me very gently, and I was looking. I was like, okay, she's really trying to hit on me. And then eventually, that's when she came on to me. It's like, hey, I'm really feeling you. I like you a lot, But nothing really jumped off after that. I guess she was just seeing how it really was, and then once she see how I was, my age, and she was like, if only if you was slightly older, maybe we could really have something serious. I was like, age ain't nothing but a number, but if that's how you feel, all right, I'm not gonna dwell on it.
Right.
I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
I don't know about that. I think that was game. Because I mean, if she kind of came on you in the first, she couldn't have thought you was 33 in the first place. You look very young.
He was younger.
Right.
Right.
So that sounds like some Roberta Kelly type stuff. She actually wish you was younger than you were. Like, oh no, he closer to my age. I thought he was a youngster. I could mold and shape and conform.
The most Stella got her groove back situation.
Yeah,
exactly. So exactly.
That's what that is.
So I get hit on all the time.
Do you?
All the time?
All the time.
Yeah.
Now it's funny
because that can't be because energy you're putting out, because you're not out with that type of, you're not looking for that type of connection in somebody else. So like, how does that happen?
It's a few things. I think it's a combination of.
Hang on, Q. Pause real quick.
Go ahead.
Because I think I'll agree with you on some of the things that you're about to say.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because it happens. And as, I guess, nonchalant as I am about things, I'm just like, Now, my situation, like I was saying the other day at work, was the lady was throwing them out there, and I wasn't picking up because the people I was working with, I was like, damn. But go ahead, because I'll probably agree with you on a number of things that you're about to say.
Okay, so number one is, like, I really don't be fronting when I talk about self. I'm at this age where I am now, I'm very self-confident.
Right.
And it's not, I don't think I'm fine. I don't think I'm the ish. I know what I am. I know what I'm not. I know what I bring to the table. I walk in self-confidence.
Agreed.
I don't front with that. It's not an arrogant thing. It's not something I'm trying to play myself up. That's really how I feel.
Right.
And I know what I am. I know what I'm not. All of that. Now it's so even in my earlier years, I didn't have the self-confidence, and what happened is a lot of times later down the road, there are people that I liked and I was interested in and I had crushes on and stuff like that. But like I said, because of my lack of self-confidence, there's a lot that I didn't see. Come, years down the road, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I had the biggest crush on you," and I'm like, "Really?" And over time, it's like, "How did I not see that? How did I not know?" And after enough people tell you that, it's like, okay, obviously you're not seeing yourself the way that other people see you. You got to work on that. So I started working on that. Then, of course, I was married or in relationships for the majority of my 20s, and even still, sometimes people hit on you, but women are different in their 20s and early 30s than they are now. So the combination of my self-confidence and plus at my age, women just are much more aggressive now. Much more aggressive. And they are I'm trying to figure out how to say it. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time. If they see a good man, then they don't waste a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be pretty. They are pretty aggressive.
Do you feel like you guys get women hit on you because you are married?
Oh, and then the last thing
I do.
That can be, but not necessarily. The other thing is my mouth game to elevate it pretty well.
Oh,
Like
wait.
a man who can communicate, and not only that, and it's passive communication. Like I can communicate, have a whole hour-long conversation with you, and you can tell I don't want you. That makes them want you even more.
Right.
Like, hey, for real?
Exactly. Yes, that is true.
Very
That's
true.
true. Yep.
So the combination of those things, that's what I think it is.
Yep.
Sophie, how do you still get hit on? Why do you think that you still get hit on?
I don't know why, because I don't know why. But conversation, I like Q just said, literally, I can have a conversation with clients or whomever, and not want anything to do with them other than to design their back living space, basically.
Right.
I mean, that's it. But like I said, I was telling Sonia just the other day about this lady, and I wasn't even picking up because I just wasn't, but it happens. And like I said, once I think they realize that I'm not going to be the one forcing the issue, I'm not going to be the one pressing you, then they dial it back a little bit. Then it just becomes, conversation, But Q made some good points. It's crazy,
I would just think that a ring on the left
Oakley
finger
got that
of both of
baritone
y'all.
undertone in his voice too.
But I'm just saying that a ring on
need
your
to be on
left
the phone.
finger would be like the number one deterrent. Like I could see you
It's
in
not,
passing,
though.
like,
That's
oh,
the
this
thing.
is a
It's
good-looking
not.
man, but then you see the ring and it's like, oh, absolutely not. Like,
It's
but I
not, but
realize that some women like that though.
Yes.
They don't want it. They
yes.
don't want an actual man to themselves. They don't mind having
Right.
somebody else's man. But like that would be my number one. That's like the number one no. You see a man with a ring on, keep it moving.
Sounds toxic what they do. Real
They
toxic.
do. They do.
That's
And it
mad.
is for some it's like, no. And it's like I'm not trying to talk to you. I'm just talking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one
Right.
of those things to where, in which I think I kind of get it, but even some women do themselves. You don't think every man's trying to talk to you all the time, but sometimes it's just where their mindset is. But I kind of get that part too.
For those of y'all that have rejected a woman, what did that look like? How did you say no, and what was her response? Have y'all said no to a woman?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. How did you say no, and then what was her response to that?
I'll let you go first, Stokely.
No, good. Hang on. I got to go find somebody with a cigarette.
Okay. So, Edward, you want to jump on that before I do it?
So basically, you saying like, have we as men ever turned down women?
Has a woman approached you and you said no? How did that look, and what was her response to that no?
I'll be honest with you. I have not yet to turn down women at all. Because like just like when they approach me, they've never gone to the level where so far I have yet to reject women. Like basically I'm like Floyd Mayweather when it comes to that. So like that record is flawless at the moment. Like I've been rejected, but I haven't rejected them,
right?
Because they haven't even gone to that level of where I gone as far as asking out, and they reject me versus me. As far as seeing them try to ask me out, I haven't gone to that part yet. So I'm winning this right now. So
all right,
for a limited time only.
Ladies.
So like I said, a lot of times women will give passive approaches to you. So I can give a passive rejection in those type of ways as well. Like, I appreciate it, but no, and I was married for a long period of time. So even and it's different types of rejection. So There's a couple things. Number one, even before I was married, I was in a long relationship for about 3.5, 4 years. When I did become single for a short period of time, woo, they were coming through the woodworks. Like, and this was, I was younger then. This was more in my mid-20s then. And there was a couple of girls. One girl who approached me directly. She did approach me directly, but I think it was equally a sexual thing too that she wanted from me. And I was like, I'm just chilling. I'm good. I'm chilling. But it's always like I am flattered and I do appreciate it.
Right.
Was another person who I did know for a while, and they direct, like Edward said, he just came straight out and put it out there. And I was like, wow, I'm definitely flattered. But I had to directly reject her because I was actually interested in her friend.
I think I remember you talking about this once before.
And I knew for a fact, I said, if I let this continue on, then
there's
I won't
no
have
chance.
There's no chance I'm gonna have with. So I had to cut that sharp.
Ooh, okay.
But then in other situations, especially like it was more. I was usually more proactive. Like even after my divorce, I was more proactive because there was a lot of women who was interested in me, and I would the moment I saw, by then I understood body language a lot better and what people were trying to do, and they were trying to take me out and bring me food and all this stuff. And like I would just be proactive. Like, yeah, hey, I just want to let you know I appreciate your company. Anything that we do, that's all it's gonna be. I'm not in this relationship space right now. So if I do not believe in leading people on. If you think it's gonna be anything past this, I don't even want to continue because I'm not into leading people on, hurting their feelings.
Right.
That ain't me. So that's that. And then you got people who just sexually are aggressive towards you, and that's a different thing. You are still flattered, especially.
Right.
I mean, I'm definitely still flattered at my age. I'm like, nah.
But you have to really be in a space to where that's all you really want from somebody, to entertain that energy. At least for me, that's how I feel. Because we've had this conversation so many times over the years, especially like when you and I were both going through, divorces and new relationships and shit in the very beginning. Like, you've always maintained women have it easier than men do. That women can have their pick of any man in the building, but that men do not. And so I know, and I hear you say that, but it's so interesting to hear you say this though, because like you consistently get hit on as a married or a not married man, and I definitely do not have that same experience. I cannot say that every time I go out, or most of the time I go out, or more than not of the times that I go out, I get hit on. I don't know. I don't think I have like resting bitch face. I don't think I have
Let me say it like this.
I don't think I have a bad energy when I go out. Like, I'm definitely a different type of chick, but like it's like I had so many more women hit on you than I could ever add up the number of men that have hit on me.
Let me just give you an example. Let me give you an example real quick. Let's say there was a game show and a contest. Contestants are me and you, Nikki. And the objective is whoever can go out to this club full of people that neither one of you know. Whoever can find someone, you can't tell them what the game is about and what the objective is. Whoever can get someone to sleep with them the quickest will get $1 million. You would get the $1 million.
Absolutely.
I think we'd be at a tie. I feel like today would be at a tie.
Nope, not even close.
That's so crazy.
I'll be coming over asking you to borrow.
It's work. Q, it's work. It is work.
Yes.
To really do it's work.
And interest don't mean sex for a man.
Right.
They can be interested, and they can be very interested. And in a lot of instances, a lot of that interest comes from my lack of interest. So if a woman is super interested and I matched her energy of interest, a lot of times she'll back off. Like, hold on.
Yeah.
A part of the reason I'm attractive is because I'm not aggressive in that type of way. Like, I'm not sexually aggressive or physically aggressive.
Right.
Right.
It's a difference. It's a dance. It's a I hate to say game, but in certain ways it is a game. It's a dance.
It is.
So you agree with Q then, Stokely, that women can definitely land far more than men can.
That's one of those things where it really shouldn't even be like a discussion.
But why does
what
it
it
seem
is.
that men have far more conquests than women do then? I guess, is that because men do the pursuing more than women do, or?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I was watching something today where this girl was telling these two guys that it's easier for them. A guy could be ugly, but if he got money, he'll get more women than she could get guys. And I'm like, what?
I swear I agree with that.
All you gotta do is wash your hair. All you gotta do is wash your hair, get dressed, and go outside. Pretty much.
If all three of us went out one night and we all were tasked with who can get the most phone numbers or who gets hit on the most, I swear to God, I would be last place.
Getting hit on and having sex.
I don't know about that, Nikki.
I swear.
You might be hard third place, Nikki. I'll be dead last.
No.
That's on everything.
If all of us went out in a group, if all of us went out together in a group, just say we're going to happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, you winning. That's just the way it is. I'm telling you.
And see, Nikki, let me go this far. If I'm aggressively out getting numbers, let me tell you, watch this. If I aggressively went out, say we're going on a contest, see who can get the most numbers. I get 10 numbers. 4 of them gonna be fake. Another 2 or 3 probably won't answer.
He got one number.
Yeah,
he got one number.
Listen, when I first came to Austin, I would go to Highland Mall. That was my spot. That's just where I went.
That's where everybody went.
I didn't know nobody else, so that's where I went. Go to Highland Mall, and that was my whole thing. I'm like, look, if I go, my goal is I want to get at least 5 numbers. If I get 5 numbers, maybe 2 or 3 will actually answer when I call.
Damn, man.
Yeah. And out of the 2 or 3 that answer, I might actually get to take one of them out. Sometime one of them will actually
something
meet up
I've
on
never thought about. Like, I don't know if this is just shit women don't have to think about, and we don't think like this.
You don't have to.
Versus, so y'all have a number of numbers you're trying to get, and we're just like, how many times can we give our number out?
Or tell somebody no. I mean, you guys can do that too.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then in a lot of instances, then women, that's the game. A lot of women try to pimp me and like, let me see how many drinks I can get without actually giving them my number or actually having it. And a lot of people ain't even interested in the guy, and they'll be like, that's a whole nother set of no rules that I ain't gonna.
But I feel like Q, like right now in today's like single world, like that literally and legitimately is a reason why I feel like some men don't entertain conversation or company with women sometimes, is because they're tired of fucking getting used for free drinks or being gamed on, out in a social type of environment.
Yeah. That's the man's fault. See,
but
first of all, let me say, number one, if you ask me for a drink, you're not getting a drink.
Well, there's that.
I don't play that.
There's that.
If you try to play me like a simp or a John, I will tell you no to your face. I ain't doing
no means no.
Right. Yes. Unless you want to have an abortion or a vaccine.
And the fact of the matter is, I'm just here to have a good time and relax and chill.
Right.
So while I'm sitting here drinking my beer, eating my sandwich, doing whatever, if we just start having a natural, casual conversation, I'm probably gonna buy you a drink.
Right.
Why are we sitting there? What you drinking? What you drink? Because then I'm just curious anyway. Because half of that stuff I don't know what it is. Whatever they say, all right, give me 2 of those. So now I get to try something I never had before.
Right.
But the moment you're trying to why are you asking me for a drink? You don't know me. You ain't trying to get to know me. Get away from me. Like I don't.
Do y'all see that a lot? Do women actually ask men?
All the time.
They ask you,
but that wasn't even my point. Let me get to my other point.
Don't do that, lady.
The reason I say it's the man's fault is because your first words coming up to a woman at the bar shouldn't be, "Let me buy you a drink." Well, if they accept it, then you got what you asked for.
Right.
Why? How come you ain't got no other game or no other type of conversation other than let me buy you a drink? Hey, little mama, blah 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 blah. Like, if you really knew how to start and engage a conversation with someone, then you would have something better to talk about.
Right.
That would actually give the person the opportunity to know more about you, and you can exchange thoughts and ideas and feelings and chemistry and energy and whatever else you want to do. But when your first thing that I see this happen all the time.
What you drinking?
A man's first thing, what you drink, because you're trying to substitute your wallet for your conversation. So you get what you deserve.
Yeah, I guess so. I couldn't imagine being a man and having a woman say, will you buy me a drink, or buy me a drink, or get me a drink, or how about my drink? And a man actually be like, oh, sure. Let me. I can't even see that.
It's suckers out there every day, all over the place.
And then what they do, what a lot of women do, because they will, and that's why I said this, where self-confidence come in. A lot of women will play on a man's fragile ego. So if a man's ego is fragile, he will feel like he has to prove that he got it. You buy me a drink. Oh, I don't know. Oh, what? You ain't got it? You can't do a little drink in this? And then a man, I got to prove that I got enough money to buy a round of drinks. And I don't have to prove anything.
No.
What I got in my bank account, I can whatever. And this was part of my reverse fragile ego, maybe even 5 years ago. Was it 5? Maybe about 4. I think I was at a domain or something like this. Some little silly girl gonna try to wallet shame me. Doing something. She said something. Well, we just talking, watching football games, chilling out. You gonna buy me some drinks and this and this and that? I'm like, no. Oh, what? I thought y'all was ballers. You ain't got it, this and this. I'm like, no. Well, this. So then when I shouldn't have did this either, because this is still part of letting somebody tap into your ego. I bought all of her friends drinks and didn't buy her one.
That's
good. I was like, I don't need your money.
That's good. That's good.
Damn.
It was a little petty, but it was just like,
it's okay. It's okay.
Sometimes you gotta know.
Some of that stuff, like, horrible. But it was like, and my whole thing was, I ain't got nothing to prove to you. And in all actuality, when I ain't got nothing to prove, I didn't even have to do that. But
what is the point?
I did it to make a petty point. I do that.
I have never and would never ask a man to buy me a drink. Like, that's okay. So what are some ways that a woman could hit on a man? Not in a relationship, like planning out the whole date and all that. So if a woman is got her eye on a man, how would y'all suggest a woman to approach a man?
Okay, this is one. A woman bought me a drink one time.
Me too. That was gonna be my first.
And you know what?
To do that. I love to get round 2. Like, I literally do. When a man gets the first round, I'm like, let me get the second round. And sometimes he says no. Most of the time he'll say no. But I always offer. Like, I personally think that that's a genuine way to show a mutual fucking interest in somebody. Is I'm willing to spend money on you too. I'm not tripping. We don't have to just eat up your bank. I'll spend some money. You get this, I'll get the next one, and we can go ham. We can go drink for drink if you want to. But so a woman buying you a drink definitely is one way she can hit on you. How else could a woman hit on a man or try to pursue a man in the very beginning?
Ooh.
Tough one. Ooh.
Edward, I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, dang it. I'm sitting around the nail on that one. Ooh.
If you at a club or you at a bar, tell them to dance with you.
Yeah.
Oh, a woman ask a man to dance. Okay.
That's
okay.
Cool.
Okay.
And then sometimes,
you know what? That actually happened to me one time.
Passively also. Like, sometimes women, they'll, music be playing. They just give you the eye contact. They be like, put their hand up, like, come dance with me. And it's like,
right.
That actually happened to me not too long ago. Now to think about it, that actually happened not too long ago. I never thought I ever had that opportunity for it to come forward. And she literally came over and like she was dancing and stuff, and she was like, "Come on, like come over." And I was like, "All right, I'm ready to show up and show out." And I did. And I felt good about that, you know, like, because you never ever really see women coming and just kind of like tell you or literally just show you like, hey, I'm out. You know, usually the other way around. But that was a rare occasion. I actually felt good about myself just seeing that happen. You know, I was like, okay, now I got to flip the table and try to be more on the assertive side of things from that point on. But I appreciate when a woman do show that.
That don't always mean something. Sometimes they just feel like dancing, or sometimes they just, you know, it don't always mean something, but it can.
But I'm interested in your company at this particular moment. Like, I'm interested in vibing with you at this particular moment. Like, what about and mostly y'all are fairly masculine men, so this may or this may not fly. But like, what if a woman asked you to dinner? Would you let her?
I'm thinking the same thing, Stokely. I'm like, Stokely gonna say it before I do.
Ooh, this is fascinating to be a masculine man. My man got to be masculine, so I'll fuck with y'all on that. But with that being said,
on the masculine scale.
I didn't say toxic. I didn't say toxic masculinity. I just said masculinity.
So a 9 is toxic? If it's a masculine scale and it's a 9 that make it toxic?
Well, I mean, there's a part of toxic we can all get, you know, masculine and feminine. However, the reason I even preface that is because y'all are the type of men that I see as the ones that do mannish shit, right? So like, this may not fly for you. What if a woman asked you to dinner? What if a woman asked you, you know, what if she wanted to take you out and pay for dinner and all? Like, would you even let her do that, honestly? But maybe would her just asking you be like the indicator that, oh shit, let me ask her on a date? Or would you really let her take you out and pay for the whole meal and pay for the drinks? Would you let that happen? Go ahead, Stokely.
You know what? And I gave you the example earlier. Never before had I done that, though. Never before had I done that. And that's why it was so like a breath of fresh air. It truly was. Like Q gave you the example of women coming up to you saying, buy me a drink, or you ain't gonna buy your girl a drink, or whatever. And that was totally different. There's a story that or a video I saw about this brother who was he's kind of like a provider. He's a provider, and he was dating this girl, and this girl and her best friend had planned to go out with her boyfriend and the other girl's boyfriend, and the boyfriend had just lost his job, so he didn't have any money. He was like, oh, babe. So what the girl did, because she had never taken him out, was cash apped him some money to his credit card while they were at dinner so that he could pull his credit card out and pay for everything. So it looked like
she was paying for everything.
Right. And so he said at that point, that's when he says he knew. See, it's small things like that that guys will really appreciate. And he said that day was when he said they'd been together for like 2 years. He says, I'm gonna marry her. And they've been married 7 years now. You know, so it's just little things like that. Like, you can go out and you'll see girls that are in there, they 10s, they think they greater than 10s, and you know, you got all this attitude and all this old foolishness going on. And I'll be honest with you, a real dude, if you're a 10, if she's a 10, most cats ain't, you know, they just like, whatever, girl, you know, because he knows that she gets hit on all the time.
Right.
He knows that dudes are going to do whatever they can do to trip over themselves to get to her. And nobody wants all that aggravation. You know, good conversation, being a good person, being a responsible person those are great qualities.
Right.
You know, so
I say I have, this is my man flaw when it comes to the question that you asked. At this stage in my life, yes, I would allow a woman to take me out and go on a date, you know, do all of that stuff. But this is my, I guess, ego or flaw. I wouldn't allow them to do it if I didn't have it.
Right. Like you wouldn't do it if you was, yeah.
If I needed you to, like, now it's, I can sit back and appreciate what you're doing. But if I feel like she has to do it in order for us to even go out, and now I feel a certain way about myself,
right?
And
I should have phrased it that way.
Yeah, even in situations where I like when I'm struggling, I don't even think that's time for people to be. Why you trying to date when you're struggling in the first place?
Agree.
Men and women. I'm like,
agree.
This ain't your dating time. This is the
get your shit together time.
Yeah, it's time to grind.
Yeah.
Time to grind and get yourself in a place of comfortability again before you even be thinking about that type of stuff.
I agree.
So that's my thing. And like I said, if you ask me why, probably just my ego. But I wouldn't feel let me take you out, and it's like I would feel uncomfortable. I would feel uncomfortable that entire time, knowing that if needed, I couldn't take care of everything that she's doing.
Right. And that makes sense. But you would not be opposed to a woman trying to take you out to a date, go on a dinner, shit like that.
Me and my girl, we do that all.
Well, it's different. I feel like when you're already in the relationship, like there's just definitely things that have to take place. But
but you find I got some friends and some of their girlfriends still got expectations that they. Well, you the man, you do everything. No, we just.
That's so crazy.
We just take care of each other.
Crazy.
Don't even think about it.
That is crazy.
All right, we hit 131. Do we got any other?
Well, I just want
okay. I do have one more question for you before we go. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, I was just curious what y'all's experience with rejecting a woman looked like, or if you ever told a woman no what that looked like, how her response was.
I'm polite about it.
Yeah.
No, what was her response like to your rejecting her?
You already know she gonna clam. You already know.
I was curious. What did that look like?
I've been clowned. You ain't all that. That's the first thing they want to say.
Oh,
I never claimed to be, but I'm just saying. No, thank you. I'm good.
I never had anyone clown me like that off of being rejected, and like I said, I'm really I'm total humility. I'm probably halfway blushing. Like I really appreciate the compliment of somebody doing that. So it's like I'm super humbled by it. And usually, if I don't know. Some people don't take it just like some men. No matter how politely you try to tell them, they just don't take it up the wrong. They gonna take it a kind of way. But I've never been in a situation where someone was offended. And in most cases, they and only the only times I did it is like my reasoning. It was clearly articulated. It had nothing to do with them.
Right.
So I think they understood.
Right. Well, that's good. Because I definitely have seen it go completely wrong. Like absolute shit show of a woman to just cause a scene and be reckless and like you don't want that from a man telling a man no. Like I just was curious if you guys had any experience with that type of woman. You said you had one more question, Q.
Yes. So are you going to participate in this holiday month and ask a man out on a date?
I would fucking love to, but I told you there has to be a person of interest, and I just don't have people of interest. I just don't.
Not one.
No.
Really?
No.
Well, let me ask you this: you wouldn't consider doing it just for the sake of the date or the experience?
I mean, I have plenty of platonic men I can go to lunch with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's...
Yeah, and the reason I asked, when I was going through my single period in between there, I went out with a lot of people, and there were many of them that I had no intention of it being long. I really just wanted to get out, enjoy somebody's company, learn more about another person, learn more about myself in the process as far as what I like and what I don't like, and just... sharing an experience. So it wasn't even like they were, in a lot of cases, they were not necessarily a person of interest like that, but they may just seem like an interesting person, even though that I personally wasn't interested. That makes sense, but
yeah, it makes sense. I get it.
It does, but no, there's definitely, I mean, I was seeing somebody off and on for quite a while, and I've dated a few people
But
here
Nikki,
and there.
hold on. That's
What?
part of what men got to do. Find somebody cute, walk up to him, ask him out on a date.
Well,
confidence.
You ain't gotta have a full
I need
interest.
to,
You
I
don't
need
know
to,
him.
I
That's
need
what
to
the
find,
date
I
for,
need
is
to
get
find
know
out where
him.
the tall, cute men go first of all, because there's
Have a
not
little-
tall, cute men and single that haven't slept with everybody in Austin. So like, I guess I need to like go
Got
out
you
of
putting all
town,
these
right,
pre-criteria. No.
to give this a shot.
Find a cute, tall man that you don't know, whether he's single or not. You don't know. That's why you got to go ask.
And he don't have to be all that tall.
Huh?
He don't have to be all that tall.
He
5'11".
gotta be
Just go.
taller than me. He gotta be taller than me.
How tall are you?
5'11". Go.
I'm 5'10", so
Okay, 5'11". Find you somebody
Okay,
5'11".
5'10".
you
10 and
don't
3/4,
find a whole
whatever.
lot of men who are taller than I don't see a whole lot of men that are taller than me. I would love to. I would. I wish that there was I wish I had a few prospects, right? And I don't.
I'm trying to push the experience. That's how you make the prospect. What
Well,
you see is if you see something that you like, then you go approach what you like.
I will. I do. I would. I have no problem in doing so at 44 years old. I don't. Like, I'm not going to let an opportunity pass me by if I'm really, vibing with a dude or whatever.
You know
and
what?
It's mutual.
Okay, Nikki, I got some advice. And it's simple. It's easy. This
So
kind of
funny
gets you
to
off
me.
the hook.
What?
You find somebody that you're interested in, and you be like, hey, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of Sadie September? And they'd be like, yes, or they could be like, no. And it's like, yeah, this is the month where a woman who finds a man interesting, ask them out on a date and see if, blah, 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 blah. I saw you. I'm interested. I was wanting to know if I could take you out on a date, get to know you a little better.
I gotta find him first. I gotta find him first. If he existed, I would have no qualms asking him. I really wouldn't.
So, Nikki, hold on. I got a problem now. Let me see. You walk around throughout the day and you don't see no cute men that catch your eye that you remotely interested.
The grocery store. The gas station.
Getting some coffee.
Yes.
Gas station. You don't run across I don't
leave the house much. I go to HEB. I go to the office once a week. And then I don't go out a whole lot. But any occasion where I go out, even if I'm going out every weekend.
Really? Austin done changed since I've been there then.
Ain't no cute 5'11" men out there.
Austin done changed since I've been there.
No. And I'm telling you, you ask any woman around here, they'll be like, yeah, the pickings is real slim. And it's not even about like I'm getting older, so men are I've seen some very good looking men, my age and older that are not here, but like, no, if the prospects were there, I would absolutely 100% ask a man out. I would buy a man a drink. I'd take him to dinner. Like, I have no problem in showing my interest in him if this is somebody I really am curious to want to get to know. Even if it never turns into anything, like, I have no qualms of like being that type of woman who is confident enough in herself to like, I don't give a fuck about a meal. Like, I have no problem like paying for the meal and taking you out and like doing something nice. I would absolutely do that, but that probably won't be this September. Maybe next September. Maybe December. Maybe January.
I tried to coach her into it. I gave her a shot.
I'm with it. I swear to God, we need to do like a social experiment. We need to go out. We need to go out one weekend.
I think the thought of that made them nerves kick in, and she's like, no.
No.
That's what we used to do back in the day. She ain't even that cute, no way.
I am not shy.
That was my way of saying I'm scared to talk to and get rejected.
I am not shy. I am not easily intimidated.
Oh man, I ain't.
No, I'm not shy.
We sitting up here talking about how it's different for women than it is for men. Sadie September, women. I mean, good grief. Go. There is somebody. In LA.
It ain't nobody. There's nobody out there.
There is. I'm just like, this is crazy to me.
No, there's not. And it's funny, right? I used to tell the dude I used to talk to, I used to tell him all the time, I'm like, you lucky that we live in Austin. I said, the only reason I still fuck with you is because we live here. I don't like anybody else.
Oh,
tried.
Gosh.
And just, and it's funny because recently this man told me, he's like, you she's like, you're definitely not for everybody. And I said, I'm very well aware of that. So, you know, it's a very small pool. So I would not be opposed to it, no. And any women who are listening to this, if you do have prospects in your life,
share.
Take my advice. The advice that I
share.
tried to give Nikki.
Not share like that.
You got me fucked up.
Not share like that. I mean, share like
that's the last thing I want.
That could be possible.
Take that man out. Take that man out. Take that man out.
Tried to get a Nikki.
Take that man out. Take that man out. And I'm just not going to say yes to any old thing. I'm just not. There's a lot of women out there who will say yes to any dude just because they want a free meal and some attention. And I'm not her. I don't. I can't fake it that long. I'm not going to fake it. Like, that's energy I'm not willing to put out there. But if I saw something I wanted, I'd make it known. I don't have a problem with that. So the whole Sadie September thing is cute.
That ain't the same thing.
What you mean?
You said I'd make it known. That ain't the same thing as asking someone out on a date.
I'm not asking you out. I'm making it known. Shit, I'm letting you know what's up.
That goes back to what I was talking about, how women will passively put the signs out there.
No, if I ask you out on a date, that's definitely not passive. That's pretty forward.
You didn't say ask out on a date. You just said I'll make it known. That's
by way of, you know, would you want to go out for dinner, go out for a drink, you want to hang out, you know, whatever the case may be. Yeah, I don't have any qualms with that. I look forward to that one day.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I'm telling. I don't know.
Yeah,
so every time I hear Q talk about this, or when I hear men say, "Oh, women got it so much easier," I'm like,
easy.
I'm not saying that we don't, but it's not always that way. I mean, 99% of the time when I go out, I don't get hit on. I do not get hit on.
The scenario was excellent to say, this is a game show, and whoever does gets $1 million, and you would win every single time. I mean, I just look. If I didn't know Q and I didn't know Edward, and collectively we all three of us know that is a rule. I mean, that's just the way it is. All three of us, we don't have to know one another, but we do know that to be the case. So, you know.
Yeah, I wish some of the ladies would have joined us tonight, so I could have had some backup.
You get no backup. You get no backup
on this one tonight.
Not this week.
Not this week. No. So moral of the story is, it's okay for women to hit on men. It's okay for women to ask men out on dates. It's okay for women to make the first move. Would you all say that would make you more interested in a woman if she put forth the effort first?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I knew.
Right.
I don't know if it's more interested for me, but it would raise my eyebrow. It's a different type of interest.
Right. That's what's up.
I think for me it was like I said, one of those things where this is uncommon. This isn't how this shit normally is. And that's why it was so, you know, it was nice. It was a breath of fresh air. It was so different that I was like, I got to do more of this. I got to explore this, you know, and that's what it was. So women, if you're listening, that's what you need to do to find you a good dude. And dudes, if a woman treats you good, shit,
lock her down.
For real.
Lock her down. Absolutely.
All right. We at 143. Anybody got any last thoughts before we close out?
I would say thank y'all so much. I appreciate this topic because I've been looking for this topic since I got on Free Thinkers, and I appreciate it. And I think y'all asking earlier about dang, I forgot. Well, if it come up again another time, I'll bring it up. But it was a question y'all had, and I forgot the answer on that part. But everything was great. I love it.
Okay.
Well, you know, and Edward, you talked about body language, so maybe Q, we can talk about that, and you know, in a couple sessions here, like just what does body language look like? You know, what different things does body language? Right. What messages does that send? Because it's kind of interesting for me to hear you say that, like, you don't really know body language. Because in my mind, I'm like, it seems so clear, but obviously it's not. Like, it really and truly isn't for each person. And that's really important to understand how to read people is understanding body language. That might be a cool conversation to have.
Again, I think
that is a good, that would be a good topic.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, but for some people, it stages of your life where you're at, you're more observant to those types of things. Where that now, shit, I'm just not. I mean, you come out there and do cartwheels and round offs and shit. I'm like, what's she trying to say? I don't know.
She likes to do jumps.
That's the thing. It's just where you are in life, I guess.
Right.
Which,
Right.
And in fairness, my profession has taught me a lot about reading body language and signs.
Same.
A lot of it transfers over to relationships.
Mine too.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And that makes a big deal. That makes a big difference. Just real quickly, we have our topic for next week. I want to throw it out there for anybody who's watching, so just be prepared. Next week, we are going to do role reversal. So we're going to do men and women role reversal. We're going to do married single role reversal, black white role reversal, gay straight role reversal. We're going to try to hopefully come up with all these different scenarios of role reversal. I guess it can kind of be, double standards can be talked about in this too, but just definite role reversal. Women doing things, men doing things, the traditional, non-traditional. So we're going to talk about that next week. So join us next week. And then beginning this fall, maybe October, the first Tuesday of October, we want to give y'all some time to watch Black Mirror episodes. Q has a couple that he wants to talk about in particular. So Q, just go ahead and repost those 3 on the Free Thinkers page tonight or tomorrow, just so people know. But there's a couple episodes that we want to get into discussions about, and not so much just talking about the show, but the theories behind what's happening in these shows. Ironically, Q, I tagged you on something that I saw yesterday on Instagram. And it was this is a whole Black Mirror episode. And I was like, God, you were just talking about this. And I can't remember what the hell I posted on Instagram. But it was about the credit system. Apparently was it Austria? I want to say maybe Austria, Australia, somewhere. They have instituted a credit system, essentially. And this is happening in real life, and people are this shit was on fucking Black Mirror. No way. So we want to talk about some of these concepts and some of these realities and these possibilities of these things that are happening in this show, Black Mirror. So watch Black Mirror. It's on Netflix. Q will post a couple episodes in particular that we want to start with, and we just want to get into some just cracking into our brain conversations about some of these possibilities. That are not far-fetched anymore. This dystopian world that we live in. It is. Crazy. And it's only kind of getting crazier.
It's going to get crazier. Yeah, it's going to get crazier. Me too.
So Black Mirror coming up this fall. Role reversals next Tuesday. And then if you guys have any topic suggestions, please share them. I've got 11 more days of jail. So hopefully, I'll be able to get the slew of topics that I keep sending to Q over to Free Thinkers myself. Because there's so much stuff.
Please,
I gotta get
my Facebook feed is dry without your presence.
I'm telling you, look, you gotta follow me on Instagram because my Instagram is popping. My Instagram is nonstop.
I gotta get better.
You got 2 clips every time I look on my feed. It says Nikki Free Thinkers, Nikki Free Thinkers, somebody else. Nikki Free Thinkers. I'm only on Facebook. It would have been super popping. It would have been super nice.
And there's been a ton of topics. We've got tons of stuff to talk about. I just can't post anything on Free Thinkers. So it has been a little bit dry, but y'all jump on over there. There are some really good conversations happening right now. Engage in the conversations. Post topics over there. Let us know if you have topic ideas. And if nothing else, we'll see y'all next Tuesday. Thanks y'all for joining the conversation tonight. Don't forget to share the page. And ask a man out this September, ladies or fellas. Don't matter which way you swing. Ask a man out and report back to us.
Oh, my Lord.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, y'all take care.